Thor is going to be joining me for today's video. Hi, handsome boy. Those puppy dog eyes, look at the head tilt. Whoa! Okay, how do you do that? Okay, cool. Hello, all you beautiful people watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed my previous videos so far. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a story time, I guess you could call it. It's about when I had to get my appendix taken out. Now, I'm telling you this story because it's not your typical appendectomy. I think that's the medical term for it. Yeah. So basically, when I was younger, 11, 12 maybe, 13, around that age, I was young. I started to have troubles with pain in my stomach, and at first my mum didn't believe the pain, and then I remember one night specifically, I was at my grandparents' house. We were sitting on the couch and we were going to be staying there that night, and I stood up and I just dropped to the floor screaming. I couldn't move, and my mum, she was telling me, she was like, oh, just go to bed. Like, she thought I didn't want to go to bed and I was having a hissy fit. And my sister started screaming at her. She's like, call an ambulance. Mum called an ambulance and they came, took me to the hospital. It ended up that the doctor actually said, oh, the pain is from her appendix, but we're not gonna take it out today. That's what they said to me, and she goes, oh, you'll probably need it out in the future though, but today we're not gonna do it. Typical public healthcare system. Screwed me over in the future, didn't it? I'll just jump straight to that. So in my last video I talked about my previous surgeries in 2015 when I had my spleen and gallbladder removed. So I had to have my appendix out later that year because it ruptured. So I had an 8-week recovery after having my spleen and gallbladder out. 8 weeks off of school, like solid 8 weeks, and if you remember earlier that year I'd had a lot of time off as well because of the pain, so I missed a lot of school. I recovered, I went back to school, I was just starting to catch up on all the work too, and it freaking ruptured. So painful. Oh my god, it was so bad. I don't even really remember, I don't remember getting to the hospital. I don't remember getting taken into the operating theatre. I don't remember any of that. I just remember waking up in a dark room and I was so groggy, and I looked around, my auntie, my mum, my sister were there, and I was just like, what the hell just happened? Like, I had no memory. I was like, what the frick am I? Like, I was so out of it. So because they didn't take it out earlier and it ruptured, I got, it says on my computer, appendicitis is usually treated with surgery and antibiotics. If untreated, the appendix can rupture. And cause an abscess or systemic infection, sepsis, which happened to me. But I also got it really bad because I didn't have my spleen anymore and it was like fresh, no spleen me. With HS, a symptom is also like you get infections regularly, and you know, like you get sick and bad infections and blah blah blah. So that happened to me. So what was meant to be one night stay in hospital turned into a good 3 weeks. I think it was a good 3 weeks. I lost track of time in there. It was horrible. So that night, later that night, they wanted to get me up walking around, and I saw another guy who had had his appendix out, and he was up and walking around with the help of someone else, like up and down the hallway, and I was like, okay, so he had his after me, because I remember seeing them take him like up the hallway when I came to a little bit more, and I was like, okay, so that means I'll be able to get up and I'll be able to walk around. Oh god. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the toilet. Nurse walked me over to the toilet, sat down, did whatever, and I'm like, oh crap, I can't get up. I didn't have it in me. I tried so hard to pull myself up, like I had the handrail, I was pulling, I had no strength, like, because my stomach was still sort of healing from the previous surgeries, and then I just had this one and it ruptured, so it was worse than your typical one, and I was, and the poor nurse that was with me, she was a tiny little thing, like she couldn't lift me up, and she had to call one of the male nurses. This poor guy, he had to pick me up off the toilet, and he's just like just like sighing and like shaking his head, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I got stuck on a toilet and you had to come and put me back to bed. Like, I thought I could do it. So that happened. Multiple blood tests every day. That's how I would get woken up. I had a very rude, there was someone on my surgical team, she never spoke to me, like she never said hello until the last day she actually like spoke to me, and but she would come in at 6 AM or sometimes just before. I'd be asleep and I'd wake up to her putting the like elastic thing on my arm to get my veins to pop out, and I'd wake up to her like going like that to my vein. That's how I would wake up. Like she wouldn't actually wake me up properly. She was just gonna like stick the needle in and take my blood and run. And then like on the last day she actually spoke to me, and she was saying something about how she went on a holiday to the Whitsundays and was sailing around there. I don't know, it was weird. I don't think even like in the end they actually found out what it was. I don't remember them telling me what the infection was. I think they were just like, oh, you can go home, like we've had enough of you. They sent me home with antibiotics and I was fine. But my veins are very bad. I've got very bad veins. So I had to get my, what's it called, IV changed pretty much every day because it would move. And then on one occasion, I think it was in my arm, like in the little bendy elbow bit, and this nurse came in and she rushed my IV meds, but my IV had actually slipped out of the vein, so my arm got very red and it swelled up like triple the size. So that wasn't fun, and that was actually really painful, and there was nothing, they didn't do anything, they were just kind of like, oh, we'll watch the swelling go down. Like one nurse grabbed a pen, drew a freaking line around the swelling area, and she's like, oh, we'll watch it go down. They had to stick the IV in this part because the back of my hand, like here, had been used. They even tried like here, and like it wouldn't go in. I remember that was at like, that was at like 3 AM that time, and the doctor was just like, this is gonna hurt, I'm not gonna lie. The worst IV I've ever gotten, and I've had a lot, and the worst one ever. So there I was, big red swollen arm, and then IV in the most awkward spot. So like I didn't want to move this hand because I could feel it like moving around in my wrist, and I was like I don't like feeling that. And I couldn't use this arm because it was swollen. So like till the swelling went down, until they removed that, I didn't do it. I couldn't move my arms. I didn't want to move my arms. This one was too painful. This one felt weird. So, oh, and then there was also, I got so sick of them having to change my IV every day. Sometimes, I think a couple times it happened like twice a day. I got up to go to the bathroom, and the doctor was coming in and they're like, oh, I gotta give you an IV. Like, they'd given me a break for a couple of hours because I was just sick of it. They're like, oh, we'll give you a break and then, you know, we gotta get these IV antibiotics into you. And he comes in just as I'm going to the bathroom and he's like, okay, it's time. I turned, I was in the doorway of the bathroom. I just like look over my shoulder. I told him to F off. I was so tired and I was in so much pain, and I walked in and I shut myself in the bathroom, and my auntie was sitting in there with me that day, and she's like, I'm so sorry about that, and she's knocking on the bathroom door. She's like, come apologize to this nurse. Like, he ended up actually, like, he came in one time and he had to change it again, and he sat down on the bed next to me and he goes, you always make me feel really bad when I come in here. At that point it was like 2.5 weeks I'd been in there, so I was over this crap. I apologised to him, obviously, profusely. My second week, I had this when I had my other operations too. I think they call it like the gas pain from the if you have keyhole surgery. I don't know how it works. It like travels up through your body, it passes through one side, like it's one shoulder, and it slowly makes its way. I was just like hunched over crying. It was horrible. It was so bad. I don't know exactly how that happens. I might look at that in a second and see if I can find that out actually. The gas pain. Let's see if I can find what the gas pain actually is. Give me a second. See, here it says after laparoscopic surgery you're likely to have pain. It's caused by gas that's trapped outside of the intestines but inside the abdominal cavity. I don't really know how to explain that. It's just the feeling, what I felt. If you've stayed in hospital for a long amount of time. I know my sister's like a whole other thing entirely, but she had to stay in hospital a lot. And she said she got this as well, but it was like, you got this weird taste in the back of your mouth. It tastes like hospital. I can't describe it. When you stay there for like a decent amount of time, like you leave your room, you feel fine, you come back and it just makes you like, you get this really disgusting feeling like in your mouth, and like there's this smell but nobody else can like smell it or taste it, it's just you. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, but yeah, that's what happened when I had to have my appendix out. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this little weird story time. If you liked it, please press that like button and subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Thor is so mad at me right now. He's like, why is this tripod, not that he knows it's a tripod, but he's like, why is this metal thing in my way? What you doing? He's over this. You're so over it, hey? Alright, I'll let you outside.